各位现场的观众朋友们，各位正在收看直播的 CS:GO 的玩家朋友们，大家中午好。
Okay, our main stage host, Mr. BBC, and for British viewers, yes, I'm aware of the irony, is on the stage right now to introduce the CAC, the CS:GO Asia Championships 2018, and also be introducing our two teams. We're going to give you more thoughts from both Thorin and Natu right now. Natu, you were just finishing off on East versus West.
Yeah, I didn't get that far, did I?
No. They cut you off with the opening ceremony.
I know, that's...
Hell rude.
Exactly, very rude indeed. Yeah, I don't know. Those are always up in the air.
Yeah. I mean, who messes around more, who doesn't mess around?
Like I said, because 4 of them have played in a team, or
yeah,
4
times cohesion.
Yeah, you would think actually they should have the advantage, because think about like what connection does Pasha have with Simple, with Forest, you know, they're pretty disparate players. With that said though, the problem is in this show match you don't really tend to play strats, you kind of free for all of it.
And it's simple.
Yeah, but that means that they might have some strats, our East team.
I mean, I remember playing against an East team at a certain event
please don't.
A couple of years back,
please
and
don't.
they had actual strats, so nothing would surprise me.
Mo told me at the end of that game, he said, good AWPing. And then, I'm okay now, I'm done, I'm good forever.
Did you say, how would you know?
Tempting, but at that point I was just, my ego had been stroked and I was all right, wow, Mo told me my AWPing was good, that would do. It wasn't, it was hopeless, by the way. Your 3 predictions, who'd you like?
I'm going to actually probably side with the same predictions, I think, because for the NiP game, it's also the same factor. The standing is the killer, because if it wasn't for the standing, I think they would have beaten Virtus Pro already. And so if you think about how Virtus Pro won that game, they kind of shifted up the tempo. They realized, right, well, at certain points in time, if we just slow the game down, which is the opposite of what Virtus Pro traditionally wants to do, they're not as good when you sort of get them separated and when it's like a late game scenario and it's a 1v1 and this sort of thing. So unfortunately, I do feel as though NiP, again, veterans.
All right, we're going to get the introductions for the teams right now out into the arena.
NiP 战队 Welcome on stage, NiP. Okay, guys, welcome to Shanghai. And please say hello to our audience. Okay, thank you. Please take your seats and get ready to play. NiP 战队真的是星光熠熠，从大家的掌声和反应就能看得出来。那接下来要挑战他们的正是我们的本土的中国战队天路。来，让我们再次看一下天路的小伙子们。让我们掌声有请主场队伍天路战队。Tyloo。好的，欢迎天路的小伙子们来跟观众朋友们挥手致意一下，打个招呼。待会儿他们会进行主场的粉丝。
Okay, both of our first 2 teams out on the stage right now. I have to say, NiP looking far more comfortable on the stage than Tyloo did. They looked decidedly lost on the stage. Let's hope they're not lost during the game. Duncan, you were saying, we were talking about predictions, your 3 picks.
So, like I said, I think actually what should be happening is NiP saw the game against Virtus Pro. They take a page out of their book and they think, hey, listen, we're veterans. We can play a lot of these late game scenarios. We'll do a similar type of thing. And so, unfortunately, I feel like that's going to be the deciding factor there. I do love Tyloo's style of play. I think they're very entertaining, but I've got to give it to NiP for that one. And then I have similar thoughts on the Heroic one, because as I said, when you add in that Heroic's just brought Rubino back, and they're in a situation where it's already a bit of a mixed lineup anyway. You know, they're not really the team that you think of as heroic in the past. I feel like that could just become kind of a DM. So I actually think, you know, Envious has got some quality players. People forget, you know, they've got some good players over there. So I think, again, the map pool is going to be a weird one there, but that can maybe work in the Envious favour. So I'm just going to edge it to say Envious wins that one somehow. And for the show match, let's face it, it's probably just the team with Simple. I mean, logically, he already basically plays 1v9 anyway, so probably just kill everyone, won't he?
Yeah, so as long as his own team don't kill him, they should be all right.
That's basically how it works in Na'Vi.
Yeah. As long as they don't.
Yeah.
Interesting. We are going to move into this first matchup. Where are they right now, Ninjas in Pyjamas? Where is their legacy? It's all in the past, seemingly, but how do they rebuild that now? Oh, actually, do you know what? Hold that thought. We've got the map vetos.
Yeah, it's not surprising. Tyloo vetoing Nuke and NiP getting out of Mirage. We've seen these teams play Overpass, Inferno previously.
Yeah, it's
Inferno
very likely going to be the Overpass pick here.
Yeah, Inferno's been a map that Tyloo likes to play. Overpass seems to be NiP's comfortable.
You would think logically Cash should be the decider, but it's all on NiP because NiP want to play Dust 2.
Yeah, that last time it was Dust 2 actually, but now it's going to be Cash.
So I have to say, when you look at these maps, like Tyloo certainly plays all these maps. There's no problems there. So unfortunately, though, I again would put that into NiP's favour, which is that if you're the NiP team, if you're also comfortable on all the maps, you get 3 whole chances to actually have a win in this series. So I do think this could be a 3-game series, though. I think, you know, I give Tyloo a shot to take a map and make it interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and if it's 1-1 and it goes to Cash, they're notoriously strong on Cash.
Yeah, I mean, no, Tyloo definitely knows slouches on Cash. You know, they make plays, CT sides, something we've actually, that's been a bit of an issue for a lot of Asian teams. Tyloo's been one of the pioneers, if you will, in the Asian scene to be able to understand the methodology, how you play on the CT side. They're good at doing late round executes and making it chaotic, but they also are really, really good at making those fast strats as well. So they do actually they have a good case on how they play on Cash. But yeah, I think in this series, you know, I feel like Overpass is going to be NiP's map, but Inferno, definitely Tyloo has a chance there.
Okay. That's the map vetoes. We're a few minutes away because obviously the players need to get ready outside in the main arena and adjust. So yeah, we were talking about legacy and you know, where are NiP right now? What can they do from here? Can they rebuild? Do they need to even rebuild? We were talking a little bit the other day with Duncan about, you know, Forest get right. Does it need to be broken finally? Do they need to get rid of both of them? Yeah. Can they keep both of them? Do they need to even add any more people?
Yeah, I don't know if they need to get rid of them, if they need to replace them. Honestly, I think Forest is still, honestly, even if he's just turned 30, didn't he? He's still such a beast in this game. I feel like, you know, put him in the right position, and he can do so much damage as an individual. You know, I have a hard time believing that Get Right would just, you know, be totally lost. Obviously, he's had a rough time. You know, the numbers don't lie, do they? Like this tournament, for example, actually, he's had some really nice moments, and he's been a part of a lot of those kind of late-round clutch situations and been winning them for his team. Now, if you look at NiP as a whole compared to the old times, I was looking at the team picture. I'm like, it's not NiP anymore than the one that I knew, the one that I coached back in the day. Now they also have a massive coaching staff. You know, they have a mental coach coming here. That Peta now coaching them. You know, they have the whole crew actually here. So they don't have any issues when it comes to having someone to handle everything for you. The players can definitely just focus into the gameplay, and nothing else really matters. But no, I actually, from what I've seen now, them replacing Draken, you kind of think then, bringing Lekro in, that this is obviously going to change the dynamic of the team. You take out an AWP player, a primarily AWP player, and then, you know, you're putting Lekro. But so far, what it seems like I mentioned before, you know, Dennis and Forrest seem to be picking up the AWP, and they're players that are very, very, you know, I should say like the modern kind of standard player, you know, who are able to play in such different ways. And they're super versatile. They can pick up any weapon, put them in any role, and they can be very comfortable. So far, actually, this team, judging from the first couple of games, they've actually looked surprisingly well structured. Something you wouldn't maybe considering the fact that they did just lose a player, that they're having to change the whole kind of the way of thinking in this lineup.
Isn't that a change to the, I don't want to say the meta as much as the way that Counter-Strike is played in the modern era? You do need more hybrid players now?
Especially if you don't have like the best AWPer. That's the problem, because people will obviously isolate even your best player and figure out how do you neutralize him, how do you make it so that he can't get into a game, how do you make it so you're never attacking his site. You know, there's a lot of things you can do, and there's not many answers to that in terms of just keeping the guy being AWPer, because as we often talk about when we talk about Na'Vi and Simple, it's all well and good to say just move the star AWPer around the map, but they can't play every single angle. You can't expect a guy to do that. You know, he has his spot he plays, and he has a dynamic as to how someone backs him up and how he gets flashes for himself. So, yeah, I definitely think that was always a flaw that they had in the team before Draken, is that it had to be Forrest who was the AWPer, and he wasn't even himself a traditional primary AWPer.
Yep.
Then they got Draken. They couldn't quite work him in the team. So if you heard all the interviews towards the end of his time there were like, we're going to make him like a central part of the team. But it's like, that obviously never worked. So the other factor is the two players they have doing it now are both fabulous rifle players as well. So that's the thing, you're never really giving up too much. So as long as the spot that you use it in makes sense, the right map, I feel like they can make it work. And I actually think that's the part about the NiP lineup, because it's been so long they've been really good, that people aren't as hyped about, which is that I think Dennis, if you consider just role for role, obviously he's the in-game leader now, I think he's a big upgrade over Exist, because first of all, he's always thrived in the same loose playing style. He likes to do the style that NiP likes, but he's a much better fragger. And so I think that makes quite an exciting team. You've got all these aggressive players. He's also played with Lecro before when they had that weird Fnatic, if you remember when the whole Godsent swap happened, and then Lecro briefly was in there before. I mean, I will say they did boot him straight back out for Crims again, but okay, no hard feelings. So we like you now, you've developed. So yeah, they're an exciting team. The big problem is, like going back to what you were saying about the legacy aspect, is in your mind you're always trying to think, right, how many moves to get back to the top again? And I feel like that ship might have sailed. You know, for me now it's more about start from scratch and look at the players you've got. How can we make a good team? And then we'll see what happens from there. Because, listen, you've got young players like Lecro, like Rez. They obviously have potential. They obviously have future. Get right and Forrest, probably never going to go up again. If they can maintain and be good, that's how you build a new future. Because think about the Virtus Pro squad. In CSGO, Taz and Neo weren't the star players, but they learned how to gracefully transition to let the Bialys and the Snacks of the world come up and not dominate the team. So that might be the struggle there, is like people like Get Right, people like Forrest have to kind of learn to set someone else up. Which, you know, some players, when they're star players, you have egos because you used to be the best player.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about two of the best players in the world from, what, more than 10 years ago now.
Would have a hard time seeing, you know, Forrest being the one just flashing for his teammates, you know, and not being the guy to go up on front. But like I said, he's still capable of doing a lot of damage.
He is. I want to also ask you, have you ever seen him play anything else, by the way? Have you ever watched him play another game?
Yeah.
Because he's one of those annoying people in life who is really bloody good at everything he does. Like, every game I've seen him play, whether it be Dota or whatever, he's unbelievably good.
Yeah, and also Quake.
Yeah, Quake he's very good at as well. Really annoying.
So just, you know, one of those, far
annoyingly
too
talented
gamers.
people.
Exactly, yeah. Just a gamer.
Yeah.
By heart.
Yeah.
Probably going to be gaming until he's deathbed.
Good. Good. Some of us are closer to that than others, but yeah, it did get very melancholy.
Just till he retires, Darty, but you know, my life.
did get all melancholy for a moment there.
His last words probably, one last game of Fortnite.
Talking the last words.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Darty.
Talking the last words, what's this chap going to be telling his team? Last words for Tyloo. What do they need to make sure they focus on doing well?
See, I think, as we've gone on over many, many times with Sean, the thing I like about their team is that they try to play like a really aggressive style on the T side. They don't like wait and then try and draw all the utility out. So they really do just burst on the side, old school rush style Counter-Strike. But the thing is, it catches teams off guard because every other team in their brain, what they're going to respond with is trained by what the general meta of the game is. And so, of course, there's so few teams. I mean, the closest you can get is probably the FaZe clan. I mean, they kind of do that to a degree. But even then, they're trying to take specific aim duels and set an eco up or get Guardian in position. So it is an unusual style of play to play against. And I do feel like when it's working, you've seen that they're at their best on the T side. They're racking up big numbers. So this is why I actually hope it could be a match where both teams are just having this really good loose T style, and then we get like great Counter-Strike in that sense. Yeah,
I mean, what a coach usually in those situations talks about is basically reminding of any tendencies that you've picked up on. You've obviously have had this discussion prior to the game already, but then you just kind of start trying to reminding everyone about whatever that may be that you've been thinking about, or especially in Tyloo's case, something that I hope they have done is just they've set up certain rules of thumb when it comes to any kind of weird situation that may occur in the middle of the rounds. Because a lot of the times we see, especially on their T sides, if a CT team is being aggressive, then they have a lot of struggle adapting. So I hope they've set up some kind of ways that they adapt to those situations.
Okay, very quickly, because we need to hand over to the commentators. Which way?
I'll say NiP 2-1. I think Tyloo can get him up. Hopefully it's a great series, but NiP is going to win this one.
Okay, Natu?
I've got NiP winning this too.
2-0. Okay.
Yep.
All right. 2-1 and 2-0. It's pretty decisive, isn't it? NiP are the favourites as they head into this first game inside the arena. We also have some quality commentary coming your way as well. And who better than the former NiP TV person? It is, of course, Anders. Alongside him is Vendetta for game number 1.
Damn right, Paul. I'm ready. I feel like I've been waiting for a long time. You know, I was riding the wave in the beginning when they were winning everything. It was
They
cool.
decided to step away when they didn't do so well.
Just left them when they weren't doing well. I thought, listen, you know,
Got Astralis coming up.
it's hurting my brand now that these guys keep losing. I'm done with NiP, but you know, I do kind of enjoy seeing them improving now, and I hope that's going to keep going. I mean, I don't think you should underestimate this Tyloo team. I actually think they're pretty good, and they even have a stand-in, which I mean. I think AE had maybe like one of his worst games in the last match that we were casting.
Yeah,
I think if he just plays like 20% better, this could actually get a little bit interesting.
I mean, if you look at him, if you look at a situation where AE plays 20% better versus VP, then they're perfectly fine, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not in this situation playing NiP, and that's just how little it takes. And I think from what we've seen out of the other Tyloo players, they should be perfectly fine in order to perform in this kind of a scenario. And I think even then, if you go back to Starlighter, AE was able to perform. So I think this was more of an anomaly. This is more of an off game for him. Normally, he will be able to have more of an impact on the game than what we saw in the last series.
That was my feeling too. I mean, it looked like, I mean, this can obviously happen. It looked like he sort of got into the mode of thinking about how he wasn't really contributing enough, and like it seemed to like spiral a little bit out of control. Yeah, I've got to say, PGL have done a great job setting up the stage. In
that
the intro,
looks amazing.
Yeah, if you haven't caught the intro yet, then hopefully you will over on Reddit or somewhere else. Someone will put it up. I'm sure.
I really hope that somebody's like screen capped the picture of Get Right with the cigar in his mouth, because that's just like straight up baller status.
It's amazing. You really have to do a lot of photoshopping to make Get Right look like a badass, don't you? Like he is just very Swedish in that sense. I do love him, but. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be NiP versus Tyloo here for our first quarterfinals, and it'll be very interesting how this all plays out. The panel deciding with NiP. Are you? You didn't say. Are you on board with that?
I'm kind of on board with that, but I'm leaning more towards the direction of Duncan than Jona with Tyloo at least picking up one map. But I do think if we end up on a third, which would be cached, that's a bit of a toss-up. Honestly, I think we can see very positive signs out of Tyloo. Again, I think we saw a lot of positive things coming out of them versus VP as well. It just didn't come all the way together. They had a strong lead throughout the map. Yeah. You have to consider the fact that they were up 9-0 versus VP. They started struggling versus the double ops on VP's side, but
yeah, that's true.
Again, it's something that they can work with. They've had a day off as well, and unlike us who just did sightseeing, they've probably been practicing hard and preparing for this match.
You've got to hope so, right?
Yeah.
It seems like we are into the game. Lekro pushing down. Actually, he's going to get a headshot on X-Curate, so that's a good way to begin the round, and that means they can fall back and play a bit more safely. So just taking a big risk early on, but it definitely pays off.
Yeah. You see on Tyloo's side as well, they're pretty much just stuck with a decoy, so it's going to have to be brute force that does it for them. Yeah. So the only issue is like closing the gap. Luckily for them, though, I mean, I guess might be a bit of a false sense of security. The fact that nobody's actually contesting banana on the side of NiP, and that's because they have a 3-man setup over towards that bomb site. So that could potentially give them the feeling that, well, we could get close up here and just explode on the bomb side and have a chance in that sense. But
it's so common when you've lost someone on the T side that you go to B instead. So that's probably what NiP are gambling on, and they're actually wrong. This could really backfire badly on the NiP players if Tyloo get in. See, Dennis is caught. He might be shot in the back any second of the guys coming out of apartments. Forrest is going to get the one. Oh, what a shot from Dennis. Taking down Diddy. He can't continue the fight, but those 2 kills from Forrest and Dennis are absolutely crucial. Otherwise, Tyloo get onto the bomb site for nearly free. Bentet and AE. We'll see what they can do, especially Bentet we've been talking so much about. He's got the USP, he's down in the pit and definitely ready to do a little bit of damage here. They've got to smoke them on Res, which could be interesting to see how NiP managed to deploy that. They've taken a little bit of time just setting up for the initial play here, and Bentet's going to be taking down Res already. There's AE with 1, and Bentet will close it out. Really great job, even though Get Right got the shot in. It's going to be Tyloo to pick up the pistol.
Well done from Tyloo there, playing off a deficit, no utility really. Do get a little bit lucky with the setup coming in from NiP's side, but still, it's very well done. They were playing from a deficit in that after plant as well. Making the most out of it. And already AE
being able to have a pretty significant impact there as well. If he's not obviously able to hold off the arch area there, then Bentet's pretty screwed. Smoke's already down. He's forced out of position.
Yes.
And it's a much easier time for NiP to deal with.
So a bit of a cold call as well coming in from NiP saying they're probably going to go B.
Yeah, it's bold.
It is, and especially because it's not like they had anyone far forward in the B bomb side that would have been able to see that. And I mean, if they had, they would have seen Top Bananas and what was there, right?
Uh-oh.
They had very little information to work with.
Nice combination there from Tyloo. The initial nade from Bentet, taking Rez down to low HP, and AE being able to help out as well as the flash comes in. And that's one of the biggest dangers, honestly, on a map like Inferno. You know, being aware of those potential pushes out into Banana with pistols. So many solid pop flashes you can set up really from the site. That's really hard to detect as a T side, especially if you've pushed far up. So they stand the first test. Don't have all the utility in the world, but they're going to be able to at least smoke off the most integral choke points on the B-bomb site.
Well, if Get Right gets a kill, then there's going to be a smoke to follow it up. Unfortunately, he's going to go down to Bentet. So the idea is pretty cool, that you can sort of get a kill and maybe get away with it. If they try and chase you down, there's going to be more people waiting inside with the C75. And I think Tyloo are sort of trying to do the math. They've got 2 kills over here. They know a smoke came down from a 3rd player. That might be enough that you're starting to worry.
Yeah. And I mean, in any case, you're much safer off as Tyloo to just wait out that smoke from NiP's side as well. You still have one more if you wanted to go back to B, so that is an option.
Oh my god! It's actually a team kill in the middle of all of that. They lined up for him. He could have maybe even got more than that. That's so beautiful. Hiding in the corner. Now Forrest looking for a shot on anybody he can down to the pit. This is scary here for Tyloo. They can't really give up this round so early on. Dennis going to come just charging around the corner, and Execute at least gets 1 kill, and he's a guy to look out for. He's been phenomenal on this team, and he's going to close out the round as well. That AK-47 enough to do it, but that's a very, very scary round.
Oh yeah, that swings so fast. Lekr doing damage worthy of killing 3 players, obviously. Gets 2 for them, or 2 for his own, but that could have gotten out of control so fast. Again, like Bentet, I think it was Bentet taking that challenge. No, it was Execute taking the challenge from Pit versus Forrest as well. All you need is 1 well-connected bullet, and that's the end of it. All of a sudden, you have AE who's already tagged up on site alone, having to fend off multiple angles. It's not easy to do. Oh,
calm down.
With a bit of a love tap onto Lekr.
The crowd's loving it though.
I do love the fact that they're responsive to everything. Like when the HEs go down to start the banana and everything, they're cheering for it.
Yeah, they love it, don't they?
Aggressive pushes coming down. They're going to be able to find somebody, but probably not going to be too easy to pick up the weapon. Well, I say that Forrest, who's been pushing aggressively through apps, is going to do so. But they have left the B bomb side open.
Yeah, so they're not going to win the round, but you know, saving that AK could definitely be important later on. Oh, and a pretty good kill coming in actually. Trying to find even more. If you can get a kill with the Mac 10, that would really help out.
It's going to be a significant boost to their economy. I mean, if he just finds the timing, should still be able to do a lot of damage here.
Oh my god, doing way more. I'm not sure why they were both looking that way. A little bit of miscommunication, I think, on the Tyloo side, because they must have known he was coming anyway. Forrest is going to get the kill, and they just run right in for the defuse. That's a massive misplay from Tyloo.
Yeah.
In a number of different ways.
Yeah, obviously you can't really blame too much of it on somebody who's holding off from apps. He gets 1 kill, gets plenty of information as to what's going on, and you can see Tyloo actually using that information well too. So they end up on the B bomb side, get a free bomb plant. It's this, like from DD, it's way too aggressive. You've already spotted so many players down in Banana or towards mid. You have no real benefit of actually pushing in towards CT spawn. You know you're going up against pistols, so there's no real game there for you, and that obviously gives Get Right the opportunity to push forward. I still think though that Tyloo in that 3v3 situation should be able to deal with it better. I'm not really sure what the idea from AE and his teammate at that point was when they're just sitting with their backs turned. They knew Get Right obviously had gone into ruins, so.
Yeah, I mean, there was a grenade landing on them, and I guess that threw them off a bit, but still, that's kind of unforgivable.
Yeah.
When you are the underdog team, you've got to make sure you convert the easy rounds into actual wins, because it can obviously get much harder than that. Yeah. Lekr looking for the timing. Catch 1, but will he realize that there are more people already come through? No, they won't. Get Right not ready for it. What great timing window to be finding here for Tyloo. And they're going to actually wrap back around towards the A-bomb site. Boy's going to pick up 1, Dennis with more kills, and Could have been scary. They almost lined up there, but Forrest is now alone on the bomb side, and he's very worried. And so is Rez on the other side. They can't even help each other out.
The big question for Tyloo is now where they actually opt to go. They still have a player over towards that A bomb side, and he's probably holding off for rotations here. That's somebody. They still need to deal with Rez, and Rez is in a position where he can actually get multi-kills. That's the scary part. But I like the fact that we're seeing Tyloo just hit pause for a minute here, see what kind of reaction they can get out of NiP. And if there's no rotation for somebody to actually capitalize off on, then allow him to be a part of the push as well.
Oh, Forrest is sneaky in. NiP and are just waiting, and the timing could be godlike. They just walked around the corner, but if Rez stays alive for like even 5 or 10 seconds here, that's going to be absolutely perfect. He's turned around, expecting someone to come that side. Forrest getting the kill on DD, even if he was ready for it. And it's going to be a follow-up. Forrest getting more kills. Bentet going to be going down to Rez. A massive win here for NiP, winning a 2 versus 3 after having a very good... And that was a smart beginning from Tyloo.
Yeah, it really was. They just used a little bit too much time. I think the best case scenario for them, the best option for them to go with there is that the idea is completely correct. Allow somebody to be a part of your push as well in towards that B bomb site, but he doesn't need to be sneaky about it. If he runs up towards Banana, he gets caught out by Rez. The other players are still close enough to the point where they can cut Rez off from actually rotating back in towards the bomb site. So you do get a bomb plant pretty safely in any case. So you don't stand too much to lose, really. Either you get a kill on somebody, or you get closer to the site, or you have all the information you need to actually take that B bomb site with rather ease.
That's a good point. I mean, some painful rounds here for Tyloo to be giving up. The last 2 of them have been very winnable, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, we know how much worse it's going to be when NiP can buy full grenades. Like that's the part where you don't like playing T-side Inferno all that much.
Yeah. I mean, obviously NiP are in a bit of a, I guess, experimental stage where they don't necessarily know how much they're going to utilize an op with the current players that they have, but that's also something they can pull out. And they could even go with a double op setup, also was considered.
Was somebody having to fight the chicken for visibility in middle?
Seemed like I had to bait it down into the pit there.
Well then, he's going to be killed by Forrest regardless. So actually, you know, 3 out of the 4 kills that have happened so far in NiP have been on AKs instead of the one MP9 there. Yeah. And another one going in. So that's it's not a big deal, I guess. But
minor victory for Tyloo in that sense.
Yeah, you know, take whatever you can at this point.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be back up to weapons this time around, though. AKs, no op in the hands of X-Curate so far in this game, but we've definitely seen him being capable of doing stuff with the AK as well. He's not that kind of a one-dimensional player who can only do one thing.
No, but his AWPing was magnificent. So
it really was.
You want to see it just for that alone. He was just looking so powerful with it.
It would be fun to see how he's actually able to cope with it on the T side of Inferno as well, because that's not easy. It's probably one of the hardest maps in the map pool to play as an op.
That was a failed Molotov. The one that's right in front of Rez has actually been thrown by Tyloo, so they kind of messed it up. Now they're running through smoke, which is pretty much never advisable unless you're, you know, one of very few players in the world.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Stewie, JW...
I was about to say, there's not a whole lot of players who can make that work for themselves, and I think you could be perfectly fine just taking that L for the moment, sitting back, waiting until the aggressive smokes from NiP is faded out before you try to retake, because the follow-up Molotov to actually close off any sort of aggression from NiP is way too late. Just everything just kind of spirals out of control. Scare's going to have to reposition with the Molotov down. And regardless, even if he picks up 1 to 2 kills here in mid, likelihood of him being able to actually get around off of this is extremely meager.
Yeah, you see him lining up that shot in his mind, which is always the sign of someone who knows what they're doing. You have to sort of almost be able to visualize it before you actually turn the corner, otherwise it's probably not going to work out in your favor.
He's very good at anticipating the kind of rotations from NiP, though.
Yeah,
very well done.
Again, if you were a talent scout, you had to sort of watch a lot of demos of people playing. Yeah. Anyone who does what X-Curate was just doing before the peaks, you'd put a little mark in your notebook and say,
yeah, that's a star.
Yeah,
next to his name.
Gotta watch more of this guy. That's interesting. Looks good.
If people are able to do as Lekro did there as well, it's probably going to give you a star too.
Yeah.
Nice, efficient kills.
It's 4 rounds in a row for NiP, and the problem is the first 2 were almost giveaways by Tyloo, and now, well, that's a good shot from DD. Dennis not going to have anything to say about that.
Yet to see an op actually fire a shot this game.
True.
Well, Forrest is going to get the return at least. Takes a little bit of damage, but evens out the deficit. We'll say, though, that even though Tyloo, it's looking pretty rough for them now, considering they lost 4 in a row, but they do have an incredible amount of individual skill to potentially carry them through rounds that they shouldn't really be able to win. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of things to go their way before they actually punish people who are playing a little bit too brazenly right now, right? Or Rez, for instance, kind of cut off from the rest of his team. Will have a rotation in, and there's no smoke on the side of Tyloo, so they can't exactly pounce on this. But
you see how smart it is from Rez, though, not to be fighting it. Like, it kind of looked like he was wanting it because there's so many people coming at him. He knows you just have pistols. It's so tempting to do it. Instead, he just plays it smart, just falls back and puts down the smoke and stays safe. And it isn't... It's obviously not the highlight Counter-Strike that everybody loves, but it is actually the smarter way of playing it.
It's the way you win tournaments.
Yeah, it's pretty much the way you win tournaments. Excurate, though, somehow actually coming in with 2 kills on this B-bomb side, which is kind of impressive. See if he can get even more, spotting out a person. There's another headshot. He could have almost got it. Lekro going to be able to save NiP. That's the individual talent that we're talking about here on the Tyloo team. That would have been beautiful if he could have picked it up. But still doing the damage is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, and that's much needed as well. Because you've given away, first off, the first round Tyloo loses is to USPs. Like, it's a clean eco from NiP side, and even rack up more cash because Get Right gets a double kill with a MAC-10. So their money has been just swelling completely up to this point. So it's so important for Tyloo to be able to do some damage onto the NiP players going forward, because, yeah, now going to the double op setup on the side of NiP, that's definitely going to make its mark on their economy. Tyloo doesn't necessarily have to win 3 rounds in a row before they've broken NiP. It could be down to 2 or eventually just 1.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And there's always a question, which is like when the first round this double op comes out, if the T's don't quite know it,
yeah,
they could end up making just some decision mistakes based on thinking, well, with the ops on this side, we'll go somewhere else, we'll do something different, and then there's another one in play. So that's always interesting to me. Yeah, just to see if they forget. Oh,
especially when you look at the makeup of the team as well, right? On the side of NiP, you don't necessarily, like, if you have a secondary op in your head, you're thinking that's Forrest. So it's going to be Dennis and Forrest wielding the ops, but they play the same bomb site. So you potentially, like, you might be expecting somebody or Forrest or Dennis to play the B bomb site whenever they have an op, but if you spot them over towards the B bomb site, then you're definitely not expecting Rez to be the one carrying it over towards the B bomb side, and that could definitely catch you off guard. Maybe you run in without the necessary smokes or the pop flashes because you think you can get away with moving a little bit closer to the bomb site before you actually have to execute. We might actually see that coming to fruition as well. Yeah, and I do love the position that Riz plays with the op now. I think this is one of the most superior positions that they can play, actually. You stay alive, you're such a nuisance. So tough to get a molotov down in that corner as well, and they've also had a secondary op on Dennis to back him up here.
People don't usually molotov this corner, even though you can from out on Banana, but it just, you know, there are like 2 other spots you do it before you do this one, so Rez going to pick up somebody, and there are more people here, and I've got such a good read on this round. This might be a bit of a heartbreaking moment for Tyloo, although they're going to pick up 2 kills somehow. Rez and Get Right both get themselves killed at the same time, and Dennis is smoked off, so everything is turned on his head now. 4 versus 3, the bomb planted. They've got Banana control, and they're going to realize soon that nobody's coming from that direction, so this retake is going to be very, very hard for NiP. They're going to lose Forrest in the meantime. Dennis missing maybe the one opportunity they had there. Now it's all on Lekro, and he's actually going to pick up 1 more kill. Make it a quick triple. Oh my god, he's so fast. And now flanking over to the bomb side, he's just trying to bait out Excurate, who's actually waiting on the other side. Going to tap it 1. He's got pretty much 1 chance of doing that. Excurate going to go for the peek, and he picks it up. Of course he does. Big double for him. And Tyloo, that was a forceful push into the bomb side. I'm shocked that they managed to win it.
I don't know how they find Get Right. Like, Get Right's boosted up on top of the second box, and that's fair enough, but I feel like after Rez finds the first frag, you're able to stagger the push from Tyloo. Get Right can drop back behind new boxes, basically just play off of Rez. Rez doesn't even need to re-peek as well. I think that's a bit of a mistake on his end too, because these Tyloo players are going to hit you. Like, if you show yourself, you will go down. But it is kind of reminiscent of what Natu said on the panel, the fact that, well, it does look like when these executions go in, it's more like an aggressive boxing match where nobody's playing defense. Everybody's just taking punches to the face.
Listen, it's It's the best kind of boxing if you're just in it for the entertainment, isn't it?
Exactly.
You love it.
Oh, Lekro, he's having multiple instances here where he's finding multi-kills. It's fun to see him playing well as well right off the bat with this new team. Obviously, people are, you know, for good reason, worried about teams' transition periods whenever they bring in new players. But Lekro's definitely been able to contribute from the get-go.
See if he can contribute some more here. Doesn't actually see anyone yet. He's going to find a free kill, and he gets back around the corner. And again, oh, he's going to linger around for a little bit. It's so dangerous. Very often it's worth it once you get that first win to just take the win and go away. Because if he dies now, they haven't really, like, look at the weaponry they have on the rest. They kind of need him to stay alive.
Yeah, it's been all for nothing at that point. Especially when you consider the positioning on NiP side. Tyloo obviously can't be aware of it, but it is just like a gateway in towards that B-bomb site. Tyloo for now, though. Also one man up in top mid. NiP not necessarily challenging for it, but they're going to go away. They're going to stack up over towards B here. There is a two-man defense with weapons as well.
Still waiting for it. Not going to stick around. Counter grenade coming out there. Always helpful, and they're going to flank back around to the A-bomb side instead. Somebody leading the charge. Danish with a really high flashbang, and it does hit at least one person. A good crossfire being set up, and they haven't found a way to break it, and they won't be able to either. That crossfire is so powerful. This is the big reason why you need the smoke grenades.
Yeah. Be able to section off force from the rest of the team in that scenario. You can solely focus on Dennis with the Famas. Like that, Dennis is maximum going to get one kill in that kind of scenario. But yeah, third different NiP player with an op so far into the game. It's working out for them. There you go.
What a luxury to have if you can.
Everyone gets a go.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we've seen it. It's not that it's devastating to Na'Vi, for instance, if Simple isn't feeling the AWP, which rarely happens. But I mean, some games he hasn't really been hitting the same kind of shots. And at that point, they just probably don't even play with an AWP, right? Like, they just say, well, that's it. Whereas
we've expended our options.
Yeah, we've expended our options. Now it feels like NiP's, you know, they're not going to be as good as Simple, but then again, nobody is. So, so you might just have to say, fair enough, but we can try different, you know, different people can pick it up, and maybe it'll work like good enough, essentially.
Yeah, and with different players, you have different things they thrive in. Even though they're not specialists with the op, you could have Lekro being more comfortable actually pushing aggressively than what someone like Rez would be, for instance.
Yeah.
And obviously that plays into to how they want to go about it as well. And that also makes it a lot harder for Tyloo to understand what's coming at them.
This is going to be a bit interesting because I think they're going to have to go super quick in this rush. In fact, they're already trying to see if they can rush their way through the smoke. And somehow DD wins the fight against Rez inside of it. He's going to pick up one more kill with the stolen AWP. What a perfect play coming out here from Tyloo. They knew they had to be quick because they didn't really have the weapons and even the grenades to stick around. And NiP going to have to run. Tyloo making this interesting really early on, not allowing NiP to feel comfortable at all.
That was a bare minimum push as well.
Yeah.
One smoke, a couple of flashes, in you go.
I think, was it Get Right he ran into in the smoke?
I think it was Rez, and Rez who was the one playing from pool, like the opening of B from CT spawn.
I think they actually bumped into each other in the smoke, and I think DD just fired the CZ-75 and got the kill.
Like as he would.
Yeah, of course. That's how it works. So the fish, they're definitely done.
They're dead, yeah.
Is it legal to fish with
explosives?
Yeah.
I think in some states in the US it is.
Southern states, probably.
Probably.
It's the main in the assumption.
Stunner would know.
We'll ask him. We'll get Trace on the case.
Yeah, there you go, UST. It seems like Rez probably took a shot through the smoke, tried to back out at the same time as DD was running through. But I think this is also one of the reasons why the initial position we saw Rez using from the back of the bomb side is so much better.
Yeah.
Because again, you're giving yourself better angle, very unlikely to be smoked off or flashed. It's very easy to position yourself in a way that you don't get affected by flashes as much. And you're not going to get rushed down, especially if you have a player on the side as well.
I mean, there is a problem to be solved on this map that I feel like most CT sides just haven't solved, which is that B-bomb side, you know? Because what you obviously would love to do is to have top banana control so that you have one more corner to play back around when you fall into the bomb site.
Yeah.
But most of the time, that's just not even really possible. So you can see like NiP, they just kind of don't even try. Oh, that's a
nifty try.
I love that. That's actually so bold. But
the problem is, having the confidence to do so.
Yeah, because like we said, he was playing very timid game when we saw him last.
Definitely.
But the problem with the way that NiP are holding now is they can so easily get isolated from each other on the bomb site, and then it's not really worth that much having 2 people on there if they can't help each other out. So
yeah,
there's something about that B bomb site that hasn't been.
I think it's that, and in parts with how a lot of CT sides play with this, the A apps really on this map too. Because again, if you're not able to contest for banana control, you're already limiting the amount of information you're able to gain from the T side, right?
Yeah.
So the only avenue that I feel like is a realistic option a lot of the time is with aggression through apps. If you set up with an aggression, like initially aggressive setup, then you can fend off people pretty easily. You can have a very unique rotation pattern that's not common with most teams. And I think that could be massively beneficial.
Again, they're at it. They almost line up for a very dangerous spray. Rez is going to follow up with 2 big kills, and 8 seconds left. The bomb has dropped one more time, and that means A just has almost no time. Indeed, simply going to run out. That's a beautiful kill. Oh my God! What is A doing? Feeling great on the big stage right now, and picking up some really impressive kills. Sad that he didn't have time to win the round.
Yeah.
This is a different AE from the one that we were seeing.
Oh,
like a completely different.
It's more like Excurate playing with AE's name. That's more what it feels like. But if he can get into the groove of things, that's going to be a massive upside for Tyloo. Obviously, again, they're having issues with time here in a few of these buy rounds, and that's partly because NiP, because they're not aggressive, they're not necessarily going anywhere. Like they're not giving up any easy picks for Tyloo to work off of. Tyloo just needs to be able to assert themselves earlier in the game and kind of go with their guts in that sense. Because up to this point, you haven't gotten anything for free from NiP, and you're going to have to realize that that's just how it's going to play out for the rest of the half.
Yeah, but to their credit, some of those B rushes have looked really lethal.
Oh yeah.
So you're right. If they got in there a little bit earlier, then maybe A would have had another 10 seconds to play around with, and it would have been slightly different.
It's definitely true.
Plays out now. 3 men stacked over towards the quad side of the A-bomb site. And even Dennis pushing into apartments, which we don't see that much anymore from the CT side. People have
gone away from it.
Yeah, they're scared.
I like it, though. I think this is really cool. I want to see more of this. Obviously, he might back off as soon as the smoke fades, but he's actually going to stick around, and that's going to net him the first kill. It's massive. Opper down on the side of Tyloo.
Yeah, it's so worth it. And somebody is going to go for the return. Forrest will pick up the kill, but still favorable trades here in favor of NiP. Yeah, I think there's obviously a reason why people don't push the apartments the same way, and it's because you can shoot through the walls so much now.
Yeah.
But you're right, when people just completely discount it, that also becomes very predictable. So
yeah, and especially when you have so many teams who set up with a lot of their defaults working through apps as well. Get right, actually finds Bentet with the last bullet.
That's so.
Oh my DD!
God, look at these Tyloo players. That's DD coming in with a beautiful jiggle peek headshot. Now Dennis just ready and waiting, but he's going to get taken down. Rez, he has been an incredibly stable force on this NiP team. Let's see if he can do this 1 versus 2. The smoke is going to be very frustrating for him. And the other one, I think, is almost faded, so he's going to have to do something really clever. Can throw the Molotov into the skybox and have it drop back down. That might help him, but he still has to come through the smoke at some point. And yeah, it's got to be a bit further out. See if he can put the smoke in and run in behind it. Setting up a little bit of a wall, going for the fight. He's going to be picking up DD, who's out in the open. Now A is in a dangerous position in that corner. I think he knows that jumping up, though, is a little bit too much, and A will take him down. Big win here for Tyloo. With this first half has turned very interesting now.
Definitely has an AE just continuously having impact frags. I'm loving this from him.
Yeah.
This is definitely something they needed. Especially in the case that somebody hasn't really been able to put his mark on it, but DD, yeah. There we see it. It's just that brawly style. So solid individually. Tyloo's biggest enemy right now have really been themselves. Like some of their decision-making late into rounds that's cost them, but you can tell that if they can get that under wraps, if they can just calm down and be able to plan things through, they can do insane amounts of damage.
He's trying to open it up with the Deagle, but they were just a bit further out than he was expecting, and that's going to slow things down a bit here on Banana. I mean, if we apply the what-if style of analysis, then, you know, there's at least 2 rounds where Tyloo should have had that. So it should have been sort of 7-5 in favor of NiP, even, or sorry, in favor of Tyloo using that. This time, even if NiP had a bit of a boost situation going on the B-bomb side, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. And they've made their way through already, getting a couple of kills, almost lining up for a double was Dennis. He's going to get taken down, and the rest of the bomb side will fall swiftly, leaving Forest to save the M4 for the next round. And this has turned into a really interesting game.
It really has, and again, it's going to be really fun to see what Tyloo are able to come up with on the CT side of Inferno too. But the T side, for, you know, even with the grave mistakes that have led to a couple of easy NiP rounds, I think they are playing well. Like, this is not them just like toppling over completely.
No, absolutely not. And I think NiP are they're experiencing the same problem that so many teams are on this, especially on this B-bomb side, is that eventually you don't know where to stand anymore. Like, you very quickly get the feeling that all positions are not quite safe, and the ones that are safe can be smoked off so easily. So then they might be safe, but they're not useful, you know?
Yeah, and it's a really big issue as well with the B-bomb side compared to, let's say, A on Mirage, right? Like, you can have a similar situation where, well, there's only so many positions to play off of. Most of them get either mollied or smoked off. So you have to play for retake. That's fine on Barrage.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Not so much on the B-bomb side of Inferno. That's so much harder to retake. So again, if you're NiP, you might be ending up with a feeling of, well, we can't fight this, but we can't give it up either. So what do we do?
I mean, I think, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but I think it is still an open question.
This is a bit interesting. So double boost on top of the new boxes. Like, we barely see the boost on the new boxes happening all that much anymore, but like, when it comes out, it was, I guess it can be effective at times. At least you avoid the Molotovs behind new boxes and that kind of stuff. But
yeah, but there is a Molotov that actually can be thrown that lands both
on top of the,
both on top and lands behind. So if people know that version of it,
then you're pretty screwed. But in any case, I think that the fact that there might be 2 people there could catch some of the Tyloo players off. And they're letting time run down, and they haven't been especially proactive in terms of figuring out what's going on the side of NiP.
Forest alone on this side. A little bit of backup coming in. He's going to get 1 kill on DD, which is surely going to be annoying.
He's going to be able to pick up the weapon on Gutright as well. Somebody's going to flash himself out.
The wrong way, though. That could have been very dangerous. Now they're pushing in. They're going to get 1 kill, but Rez gets taken down, and he still managed to overrun the bomb site. So it's a good effort for NiP. Forest has got the armor, and he could, if he really is feeling it, could run for a 1-on-2 here, but he would have to be very quick about it, just to find the players.
Yeah, he doesn't have a defuse kit. No nades either, so he needs to find that immediate frag.
Well, let's see if he's going to be able to. Making a bit of noise, jumping around the corner, and yeah, looking the wrong way. X-Great will take him down. And it will be 1 more round here with Tyloo in the first half. This is suddenly looking very good for them.
Yeah, they're within a chance of actually winning the half, which definitely didn't seem to be the case after going down 4-2 and then seemingly having struggles, just figuring out what to do.
We could also just mention, I mean, NiP were only... Was it like 1 round where NiP were in that zone where they could buy all the rifles and all the grenades? It was like 1 or 2 rounds. And then right afterwards and right before that, they had to make some compromises. And that really makes a big difference on Inferno.
Oh, it definitely does. And that comes off the back of the fact that they went with double ops.
Yeah.
And the first round they pick up an op, it's Dennis to get taken out by DD immediately in mid, so he doesn't get any benefit out of it. And then they upgrade to double ops the round after.
Just dry peeking Rez, just saying, get out. He's not interested in any kind of negotiation at top banana.
I was about to say, you don't negotiate with terrorists, but it is Tyloo like the T side.
Yeah.
So it doesn't kind of work, but...
Yeah, they don't negotiate either way.
Yeah.
Not even picking up the phone, are they?
All right, now NiP with a bit of a gamble stack here over towards B, and I guess with the tendencies shown from Tyloo, that's not a bad guess, and well, they seem to be on the mark as well. Is this going to be pop flash out?
Oh, they're lining up for it here. That's a good double kill to get right, but somebody in A coming back into it. And Lecro, they just weren't expecting. That's a great headshot.
What is that free fire?
My God. What dimension did he have to dive into to get that information and just see it? That was beautiful.
I think he might need to go on the podcast with Dan, DDK, to talk about the past, present, and future, because apparently he's very aware of what's about to happen.
Yeah, especially that future part. Listen, I love that Dan's doing that podcast now. I think it's great. He's just had Moses on. He did a surprise Moses podcast.
Yeah,
and he's
with Sean as well, twice.
Yes. He's had everybody on. It's amazing.
There you go. Looking forward to see more of that. And looking forward to see more out of Lekro and his crew. NiP do manage to get that 1 round back. Gamble step working out. It's back to pistols though. We talked about it's been fun to see NiP with so many solid pistol players on their side, how many pistol rounds they can actually accrue. They did lose the first round one. Aggressive ab setup is not going to net a kill, but does some damage and puts fear into Get Right's heart at least.
I mean, this is a truism, I think, on all maps, but like the further up you show presence on the CT side, the more the T side has to sort of spend time and look around and check all the corners and everything. So if you could do it safely, it's probably worth doing. You're going to go down to Lekro, who seems to be very much on point. Like Lekro is having a good beginning to this quarterfinals.
Very much so.
A bit of a challenge there as Dennis is going to take down Thede. And again, we talked about NiP and these pistol rounds and how many they've been winning. They have so many players that are good with the pistols that it's sort of a strength all on its own. X-Crate's been spotted, and this, I mean, we talked about it so many times. That graveyard position is amazing, and Simple is one of those players, we think you mentioned this, that loves playing there.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah, so it's a very powerful position, but once you get spotted,
it's useless.
Yes, you're really stuck, aren't you?
And it's a very dangerous position to take as well when you've lost one player in mid, right? Because it forces you to play off of from the bomb site.
Yeah. And
with any sort of wrap from Arch, graveyard just becomes very moot. Like, it doesn't really do a whole lot for you. Somebody, he's having one of those games.
What is happening? Well, none of them were hitting any shots. We're just praising Dennis, but they were all just missing all of the bullets.
No. Nonetheless, so it's more than enough for NiP to be able to close out the round in the end.
Yeah, they made that work, and that's good news. How many? Maybe we could get somebody to do the stats. I hope. I don't know if Peter from HL TV is awake yet. For some strange reason, Peter's the only person I know who manages to watch every single game of Counter-Strike all the time. But
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he just like goes to bed and has like a monitor in his ceiling.
He just even while he's sleeping,
yeah,
it just gets the information in his sleep anyway. But yeah, maybe we could find out how many pistol rounds NiP have lost. And is it like 1 or 2 or something?
I think it's 1 or 2, yeah, because they definitely lost. Well, obviously the first one here, but they lost one in the series, which is Na'Vi as well.
Okay, so something like that.
Yeah. But again, Na'Vi is not necessarily an easy team to go up against as well. When you think about the kind of pistol players they have in Simple, Electronic, and Flamey, right?
No.
And Edward as well.
Yeah.
The previous god of pistols from 1.6.
It's very true. Never forget that part. Never forget. So a lot of smokes here on the Tyloo side, in spite of the fact they only have C-Seds. I feel like this is something that confuses a lot of people. Like, why would you buy the smokes when you don't have that much?
Just, summoning the old Inferno.
Yeah.
If you just have enough smokes to chokehold towards B, eventually they'll show up on A, or they'll have to run through a smoke into ZZs.
I mean, I think it's kind of underrated in the sense that it doesn't seem like a lot, but if the clock runs down, and it's already run down a bit, but if the clock goes down past like 30 seconds, even top teams will sometimes make a mistake if you throw the smoke at the right time. Like just as they're about to come, you throw the smoke, then they have a weird decision. You see right now, NiP don't know if there's another smoke on the other side here. If there is and they're waiting this one out, that's a disaster.
Yeah, definitely is. And I think it's a cool way of going about it for Tyloo as well. They opt to not go for any sort of head armor. Because, I mean, if they're going up against SMGs, I think the ZZ is still well enough in burst to be able to do stuff. And if they're going up against AKs, it doesn't matter, SMG.
Dennis is not in the mood for any kind of trickery. But look at the timer right now. 8 seconds left on the bomb site. So imagine a world in which one of those 2 B players had another smoke for whatever odd reason.
Yeah, or they just rotated people around. Like, again, you're chancing how you're going to play out the end game of the round. And since you haven't really heard anything, you haven't gotten any information on towards any of the sides, you might as well just chance it towards B. That could be such a difficult situation for NiP, and I think that's kind of what Tyloo were banking on. So I was a little bit surprised to see that they didn't actually hold on to at least one of the smokes over towards that A-bomb side a little bit longer. Because you don't necessarily get too far by smoking off mid. Like, even though if you wait far into rounds, that could still be, worked around by having one pop flash into mid and then just kind of hiding behind the pillars in that sense. And again, you're always going to have the main advantage as the T side choosing what bomb side you go towards. So I think Tyloo could have played that a little bit differently, but the idea is really nice.
Well, we're going to head into round number 18.
It's not a bad yet to have Device call you out as a breakout player. From,
good endorsement, isn't it?
Didn't have a bad year whatsoever either, did he? So
no, he was very good. Still is, I think, still just early stage in his career yet. So they expect much more out of him, obviously. Got to say, I'm still loving the augmented reality.
Oh yeah, I want to see like how many more applications you can add to the production of Counter-Strike games.
I'm sure we'll get a taste from PGL.
If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be them.
Yeah.
Some nice kills here going the way of Tyloo. Picked up 2 AKs, albeit they have a total of 14 HP amongst them.
Yeah, that's the downside. But wait a minute.
Asia knows. He knows.
Snuck into the middle. Get gonna get 1 kill. The USP, not quite good enough. They're gonna lose the round anyway, but they did some damage, and we could have got more worrying still. And that was just a sort of a USP or CZ round, so not much coming out of it normally. 11-7, all being picked up by X-Curate. And I think this could be a huge X factor right now for Tyloo. Just having him on the defensive side, with how good he is, that could definitely change the outcome of this map.
And you say defensive side, but I'm really looking forward to see how aggressive it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we saw, pretty much throughout the entire group stage that Tyloo played. That when he was feeling it, he was running everywhere. He didn't really have like any spot that he would venture towards more often than not. He would just be wherever he was needed.
Oh, good grenades landing on Forrest and Rez there, and looks like they want to do it. There's the aggression, taking down Rez. That's great. Not letting go. Still pushing down to the bottom of Banana is somebody leading the charge with the UMP. Gonna maybe swap up for that AK-47, indeed he will.
Oh, what a madman. He's gonna jump into mid through the smoke, and he's gonna find Dennis as well.
He's lost his absolute mind, hasn't he? What is going on?
He tried a more reserved style on the T side, didn't pan out for him. Now it's back to his good old ways.
I think at that point, NiP might even just be shrugging and just saying, like,
what even is that?
What's happening? We weren't ready.
We'll give him that one. If somebody's still on the hunt for somewhat.
I mean, right now, NiP just don't even know where anybody is, right? They're just wondering what kind of map control do we have. Oh, a little bit of an attempt. Somebody gonna try and stay alive up in the apartments. Only 35 seconds, so I mean, for NiP to sort of find these players and make their way onto a bomb site just take forever. And now DD's going to chime in and take down Lekro. Get right, getting 1-3 kill. Actually, could have hit a bomb plant too. And if he can get this, if he can turn the corner, that might work out. Bentet's going to be there very, very soon, though. I don't think Get Right's really ready for it. Didn't see him either, so should be dead before the bomb goes down. And good timing on Bentet.
Yeah, I like that move from Bentet, actually. Instead of taking the initial engagement when Get Right's definitely going to be expecting someone to be there.
Yeah.
Hides around the corner until he's crossed. No way for Get Right to assume that that's going to be happening, especially with the time running down on him. But you rarely see a team being able to do that little and a buy round. Like, NiP just didn't get anything done at all. Like, they got to throw a couple of nades in Banana. X-Curate finds first frag. Somebody just goes on a complete kamikaze mission and finds eventually 2 frags off of it. And NiP are just left, as you said, left wondering, like, where the hell is everyone?
Somebody charging down again, gonna go aggressive. This time Rez will at least get the refrag, so see if that's gonna go. Oh my god! Rez was behind the smoke, just trying to walk into the middle, and Bentet gonna pick up the kill. These 2 players from Indonesia have just proven to be so powerful, haven't they?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely nuts. And for the longest time, we thought it was only Bentet, because when he would play with his old team, obviously he would dominate the scoreboard, but ever since he went to Tyloo, X-Curate has just stepped into his shoes and filled that role perfectly. And now he gets the chance to do it together.
Yeah, not exactly a country you usually associate with sort of a long history of Counter-Strike in that sense, but
definitely not. Not even back in 1.6. Like,
not even back then.
Yeah, no, for WCGs and whatnot, the Asian teams that would kind of make a dent every now and again would be the Titans from Singapore, and then you'd have, obviously, teams like Tyloo, WNV, Istro, like those kind of teams. But yeah, Indonesia's just been it's gone by the wayside. But very fun to see that they're able to produce talents of this caliber.
Yeah, that's super encouraging. You gotta hope that that will encourage more people to really try and play the game. Bentet picking up 2 more kills, even low on health. He doesn't care. Triple for him, and Dennis now, he can try and run here with 25 seconds. Still a 1-on-3 for him, and he's just throwing in all the grenades. He's actually getting spammed down through the smoke. Bentet just doing so much in this round. The bomb is going to be planted, but the flashbang is just absolutely perfect. Picking up 1 more kill and making it a quad at the end. What a beast.
Tyler playing super reckless right now. Like really, really reckless. But it feels like that's when they play their best Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's not able to find anything by playing a passive style, I think he came over to the second half with 3 kills to his name. If he has to do that kind of thing to just mess everything up with, within the ranks of NiP, then go for it. Like, do it. It's definitely going to be beneficial for you. If you can get that 1-for-1 trade, that's much better than you sitting passively back on the side and not being able to contribute at all, right?
I hope you guys at home can get a sense of what the crowd is like as well, because I can hear them. We're sitting a little bit away, and they are going nuts right now in the arena.
I think the Pasha would survive the longest out of all pro players in a case of a zombie apocalypse.
Listen, you better hope so, because think about the horror of having the Pasha zombie come after you. Like, you know,
oh, Jesus.
You would
yeah,
want
I didn't even think about that.
You'd need him to survive. I mean, him and Snacks both. That'd be the ultimate nightmare, wouldn't it? So, Jesus.
The entire Virtus Pro team could be pretty scary to have after you.
Yeah, you just wouldn't want that, would you? 11-9 C75s and 1 AK-47 there. It is looking very much like Tyloo are in the midst of a comeback here.
Look at somebody already ran through this Molotov and Banana. That's 30-40 HP, but that's perfectly fine.
Execute, getting 1 kill. Oh, just re-peeking into that. Not afraid at all. Could have fallen back, could have played it safe. He knew that they had the quad side covered, but he's again just feeling the game so much.
Yeah. I'm liking this. Like, you like the kind of approach that, or I guess the mentality that Tyloo are showing right now on the CT side. They're not afraid of anything. They're just going in and face first. Nice no-scope there.
You remember, this is the first iteration of the CSGO Asia Championship, so if a Chinese team can take a win, even if it's just 1 map here against NiP in front of a local crowd,
that'd be so cool.
That definitely would be very cool. It's definitely going to send some waves out in the Chinese scene, which is, you got to remember, still just being built. I mean, you know,
it's so fresh. So imagine, like, CS through Perfect World came out, what, a year ago?
Yeah.
At most, and consider how long it took to develop the CSGO scene in Europe and North America. Yeah. Right? Like, this needs time.
Some European countries that are hardly even, I think of Germany or something, or England, like there are plenty of countries that have a hard time sort of getting things started. Oh, God bless.
We're just lost cause.
Lecro going to be taking a shot by the AWP, instantly down. DD ducking and trying to see if he can catch the timing. Sprays and wins the fight against Get Right. This is looking like an 11th round right now. And NiP, they don't look very comfortable at all on the T side right now, and partly I think because they're just so rattled by the utter chaos of these first rounds. Yeah. Oh,
it's going to be kind of a rare miss, actually.
Yeah.
One thing that worries me over towards that A bomb set is the fact that DD's so low on HP, but NiP with the bomber moving towards the opposite side of the map, and luckily Bentet seems to have an idea of what might be happening, so he's going to stick around. I'm thinking NiP are probably going to let Dennis try to create some sort of diversion here.
Even more better, he actually has a Molotov still, Bentet, and a smoke, I think, so if he gets the timing down right, yeah, that's it. Like, the round is done if he puts those grenades in. Now, Dennis might actually cause another distraction that he might rotate back. If Dennis can get 1 kill and stay alive, that might be very different. Running in Bentet, turning around just as they're coming in. This could be dangerous. Somebody get a spray through Bentet, turning around. Oh, God, he was almost around the corner.
Yeah, that was a heartbeat away from going completely wrong for Tyloo. But as you said, the smoke comes into play.
Yeah.
Drop it on the stairs. That's all it took. A really tough situation for NiP to do anything with there. I think maybe Dennis in that scenario has to be a little bit quicker. Is it actually NiP smoke? That seems very desperate, actually. If that's NiP smoke on the stairs, obviously they're going for, you know, the old Fnatic-esque.
Plan, yeah.
Yeah. But that's very, very optimistic when you haven't cleared out anything on the side. You don't really have flashes to potentially, like, prevent vision.
They do look a little bit desperate to me, but with this kind of opening for Lekro, that's what you want after having lost quite a few rounds in a row. Yeah, always feels good to pick that up.
Eases your mind a little bit. So I guess one downside is that you still have 2 pistols on your side that you have to fight through with. Garrett's been able to pick up a Colt, but see if that's going to come into effect. It's in a very dangerous position. The fact that he actually even like turns away like that without scoping or unscoping.
Yeah, he's want to make sure that no one can hear the sound of that scope. Now he's back by the pillar, and looks like there are going to be a lot of people coming for him. Gets a shot and makes it back around the corner. It's going to be A going down instead. Next crit now. He's going to have to hit every single shot. He picks up one more. Quick for the double. There's the triple. Oh my God! One more. Misses the no scope. He wants it, and he's going to get it as well. You've got to be kidding me, X-Crit. Taking down all of NiP. What a monster.
That's 3 no scopes. 3 no scopes and an ace on X-Crit. That is absolutely insane.
That's way out of control. NiP, they must have thought they had him run down. You got that all blocked in the bomb site. You know all you need is for him to miss one shot and you can run him down.
Yeah, you said it. He needs to hit everything, and he hits like the right shots at the right time. So even when he gets that one miss, it's enough time for him to set up for a no-scope, which is obviously not 100% reliable, but X-Crit's been hitting more than he's been missing so far. That is insane.
I wasn't ready for Indonesian AWPing at all, apparently. It just hadn't occurred to me when I woke up that
that could be a thing.
That this was going to be the level.
NiP, we're definitely not expecting it either.
12-11, ladies and gentlemen.
That's such a big swing around as well. NiP back on pistols. Tyloo finally in the lead again. Like this could be what sets Tyloo off to a 1-0 start.
Absolutely could. I mean, I think you can tell at this point that NiP are a bit shaken. They've had quite a few rounds where it's been AKs and CCs. Now it's just pistols all around. They don't even have the AK-47. Trying to run down X-Crit, which we've already seen can be a little bit tricky. They've got him in, in a spot where he sort of has to fall back, which is leaving the B defense a bit uncomfortable at this point. Somebody get a good long spray in there, and he falls back behind the boost. Bentet helping out, and the bomb conveniently dropping into the bomb site. Much harder for NiP. So it was a good, really, really nice attempt, I think, here for the Swedish team to sort of isolate the B bomb site.
Yeah.
But they only had pistols.
And you almost see Bentet actually making a bit of a positional mistake as soon as he spots the one player out in T spawn. He kind of wants to move in towards the wood logs, the tree at the side there. But again, that makes him extremely susceptible for anyone coming in through Banana because there's no smoke down anymore. Somebody does a great job of actually picking up 2 people in that spray as well. Tyloo at 13 rounds. NiP, they will get a buy-in. Obviously, they have max round loss bonus at this point, but they haven't been able to do a whole lot in these buy rounds.
No, it's just been very rough on them. And even now that some of the really wild aggression has apparently subsided a bit, you can still tell that Tyloo are getting that top banana control that they kind of want to get.
Yeah.
NiP on having a hard time denying them, which you saw Tyloo had an easy time getting that part of the map.
Yeah, and like you said, the aggression has actually subsided from Tyloo, but NiP have no idea of knowing that. To them, they're still expecting somebody to be halfway down banana at this point, and they don't really know how to approach it.
Real challenge being mounted here by the Chinese team. See if they can shut down NiP here on map number 1. This story, that would be... They've used quite a lot of the grenades, and there's over a minute left. I mean, on the Tyloo side here, there's not that much left, so got to be careful about that. Want to remain in control of those last smokes until the end.
Yeah, they do hold on to 2 Molotovs on that A bomb site though, on AE and X-Curate. That is a good sign. Dennis is getting very far up here. That Molotov's going to do.
He had that lined up. He knew that he could get that shot now. He's taken a lot of damage from the Molotov. He's almost going to go down. Was he blocked or something by a teammate? I'm not sure why he couldn't fall back more efficiently. It could have been, yeah. Rez will take a kill anyway. That's good news. A going to be running down somebody on the bottom side. Going to pick up 2 big kills, but I still think NiP might have done enough to actually make it through. Bentet and X-Crit.
Still that Molotov in hand on X-Crit here, though. Might be able to put them all down in towards the bomb site. Maybe flush Forest out. Keep in mind, Dennis is on 4 HP.
But let's find out here. The retake, not easy in a 2-on-3 on this bomb site. And I think, yeah, they're gonna choose to back it off instead. I don't know exactly how much money they have, but
they're sitting around like above 5K on 3 players, and then 2 on them at around 3. Actually, yeah, AE has a ton of money. Benton's gonna find a nice little frag there.
Dennis actually
took 2 HP off of them. That's dangerous. Oh, Benton wanted to go in for more.
Yeah. So just deciding to take the rifles away from NiP makes sense.
Absolutely, and again, you can kind of go at it multiple times to kind of close out this first half as well. So just playing it safe, playing it long term. Again, I'd love to see these kind of changes to the Asian teams, because they would be way too short-sighted, you know, in earlier editions of these tournaments that they would go to. Now you can definitely tell that they actually put some effort and thought behind how they want to approach this, how they're going to actually close out games instead of just getting rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't really build long-term success on the idea of sort of having shocking, you know, one type plays that you can't really repeat. You've got to have some restraint in there every once in a while. But that's good news. You're right. Very low on grenades again on the Tyloo side, even if they have some rifles in play. A lot of kits in play as well, so that part is covered.
I do on the NiP. Finally feeling like they got something going here over towards A bomb set. Just going to re-aggress here. I'm just going to get picked up by Rez as well. But look at who's aggressive. Down banana. Somebody going to get picked up by Rez, but manages to find Forest first. I mean, now again, this voice in the side, in the heads of NiP has to come back and just be whispering evil thoughts about what Tyloo are doing.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because they sort of almost have to play on Tyloo's turn for a little bit. They are going to be walking in very close to quad once again, and they've done this many times. Dennis has been so successful at getting close to the bomb site. DD spotting one, that's an easy kill. He goes for the peek, and Lekro's right there to pick it up. That's a great kill here for the Swedish player. A expecting someone to come out, execute, runs right into it. NiP waiting for it to happen. 19 seconds says A going to pick up one big kill. If he could have won that one, that might have been a chance, but they're both going to be going down, and that will be NiP tying up the scoreline, 13-13. This has turned into a great game now.
Quite the brawl, actually. I think DD in that scenario down in pit actually has a golden opportunity to ask for flash instead of a Molotov from AE. AE obviously wants to ensure that he negates any potential for a push from NiP when they move that far forward.
Yeah.
But if he's able to throw at least that flash after the Molotov at least, there's no reason for DD to actually push out. He's already tucked away in a corner where nobody from NiP can actually find the angle on him unless they want to jump on top of the hay bale. And if they do that, then DD's going to be favored in any sort of duel that comes his way.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, so a little bit more patience on his end. That's going to do wonders, but Excurate.
We talked about how good he's been, and I don't think we've been overselling it, but some of these rounds he's been shut down a bit. That's got to feel great for NiP too, surely, just knowing that, you know, he's actually not immortal. We actually can take him out.
Unlike one of the previous rounds on A.
Yeah. Well,
Dennis finds DD walking through the smoke, and well, that's the A bomb side open, and right now NiP are finding a lot of success here.
Yeah, and I think AE actually is being aggressive on this side. He was in the bomb site just a minute ago, but he's pushed out all the way past. He might get shut down anyway here. The position up in the graveyard is just too good for, Dennis actually and Lekro. So Bentet and somebody are going to have to save their guns, and NiP are going to be at 14 rounds, so the Swedes are now the ones making the comeback. I actually thought they had stumbled to the point where they couldn't get back up again.
But they looked lost. They lost for so long. The big game changer really for them was able to finding opening picks, almost regardless of what side of the map it was on. It gave them enough breathing room to actually be able to actually walk really close up mid. And if you're Tyloo, you have to do one of two things. It's either have an additional player towards that A bomb site later on in the rounds, from mid-round and that point on, so you leave a solo player on B after maybe pushing aggressively like you've done multiple times, or you need to actually contest mid, because you can't allow NiP to get 2 to 3 players up in quad already and then actually set up and execute from there.
Yeah.
Because you've seen that even in the rounds where Tyloo are able to find a couple of frags or actually take gunfights initially or have potentially a good position, NiP are doing a really good job of having pop flashes coming into the bomb side with the 2 to 3 players from their T side actually moving in on the bomb.
Yeah. I mean, the big problem, obviously, when they get that far towards the bomb side is that the input delay from you seeing the first thing to the bomb side being overrun is almost nothing, right? Like,
yeah.
You just, oh, there's someone, oh, they're on the bomb side. They actually run past the second mid. This is absolute madness. They go for the fight. There's a third player up there, which means even Lekro's great double kill sort of get revenged a little bit. And given the weaponry they have, that might actually be cool for Tyloo.
And Benta also dropped a bomb on Lekro as well, so he's going to know about that. They know that NiP at some point have to venture back towards second mid to pick that up. They actually don't show any interest of actually keeping an eye on it, which is interesting. We saw Madi play out a 1v1 like that as well early in the tournament. But they're going to, go for the gamble stack on B. And, well, much like NiP's gamble stack in the last round of the first half, this could be gold for Tyloo if they don't push out too far.
Oh, big problem. Are they going to do that? Somebody going to win the first fight here, but NiP are going for it. Bentet picking up a kill and darting back around the corner. Now it's all on Forrest, and he's going to get shut down. Execute with the C set 75. Tying things up back again for Tyloo, 14-14, as we head into the very last stage of this first map. This, I mean, I don't even know this could be anybody's game right now. NiP have the money to buy, but not after this round, though. Oh, God.
At this point, it feels like it's nobody's game. Like, it feels like it's destined to go to overtime.
Yeah. I mean, whatever team loses this round are probably not going to have any money to work with. That might be the thing that actually prevents overtime.
Yeah, that could be the deciding factor. But I really love the change-up for Tyloo as well. You saw that they didn't have the best weaponry to go into that previous round. So they actually have concocted a game plan, a strategy for that very scenario. Three players being very aggressive towards second mid.
Yeah, which I mean, if you don't have all the weaponry, sometimes playing default is kind of a lost cause almost to begin with. So
you're going to get flashed out, you're going to get Molotov, and in any case, you're going to have a FAMAS versus an AK.
Oh, they need some good counter grenades here, Tyloo, otherwise they're going to get overrun. The flashbangs are so good, running into the bomb site. A, though, picking up the kill regardless, and Xcrit's got one. DD's going down. Can Xcrit do anything else? He snuck in, he gets a kill on Forrest. It's absolutely outrageous. Still hiding inside of the graveyard. He legs Lekro, and this just might be it. He's going to get the last kill too. This guy is an absolute star AWP player at this point. Outplaying NiP with this rifle. What's that, 26 kills on him.
And Bentet as well, the Indonesian duo.
They're so good at the moment. 15-14, and leading into round number 30. What a great player.
Prevented NiP from getting a bomb plant as well.
Yeah.
And you talked about how that's a massive issue. They're not going to have a lot of money. That's a terrible buy.
They had 3 men on the bomb side. Xcrit's the one with the AWP, but the other 2 with rifles. His 2 teammates die almost immediately, so he's alone on that bomb site, hiding inside the smoke, getting into graveyard, and getting 3 kills in the process. That's so mad, isn't it? Like you should be dead when you're that close with the AWP and your teammates are gone.
Yeah, it should be like, you got 1 kill, that's the best you can do in that scenario. We can't fault you for anything else. But he wanted it otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, for how many issues Tyloo have had on that A bomb side, the solution has been Excurate.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that's how they've stopped them.
He's just looking great once again throughout the whole tournament. He's so good. This time challenging the Molotov, not actually touching him behind that. I don't know. That's kind of the whole point of that Molotov. He does take a little bit at the end, but...
All things considered, I'd be happy with that. If I'm Excurate, I would have expected to burn to a crisp at that point. Well, did you get away with it? But nothing really gained either.
Say right now, considering the fact that NiP don't have much money, it might be time for Tyloo to try and play it very safely and just hope that they can win it in a more standard way. It looks like the same kind of execute, so probably going to be some deep flashbangs heading in towards the pit as they make their way down. Reps on the low ground. It's going to go down. That's the bomb back there. That's a nightmare. DD picking up a kill, and somebody's going to help out. They're getting shot down. Tyloo 1 kill away from winning this first map, and Forrest is going to be going down. Tyloo take it. Still more to come, but what a fantastic start to this whole best of 3. I can't believe they made it through. They're looking great right now, and NiP could not keep up with the incredible pace that was being set here by the Chinese team.
Yeah, and the pace was being set on the CT side. That's so fun. Tyloo just bringing an entirely new style of how to approach that CT side on Inferno, and doing it in style as well. That was I was worried for Tyloo because they get off to a great start winning pistol, then they fumble things about. NiP get 5 rounds in a row, and you start to think like, oh, maybe it's not their day.
Yeah. Yeah, they had those 2 really ugly losses early on, and NiP had like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. It's looking good for them. What a game. What a way to get started. The panel is ready as well. So, Paul, what do you guys think about that game?
Yes, thank you very much, Anders. Yeah, we were all warmed up. That was a very nice start to the day, wasn't it? Fantastic performance from Tyloo, coming back from the dead after it looked like NiP were in control on map 1. That was, of course, Tyloo's map. So we'll move on to Overpass, where NiP will no doubt win their map. And then we get the best of 3, and we get all 3 games. So that's fine. We're all happy on the panel, I'm sure. Gents, great performance by Tyloo to come back in that, because it was that pistol, that second pistol, we were kind of like, well, that's that then.
Yes. Yeah, this actually defied all the expectations for the series because they were the team coming back in each of the halves. They lost all the pistols but still were in the game, and they won so many clutches at the end of this game here where, like I was saying, you'd expect from the Virtus Pro series, it's going to be the veteran NiP players who win these clutches. And so, no, the big moments all went Tyloo's way. Like, I actually feel like if you NiP, this is a rough one because you felt like the game was always in your grasp, and at the end it slipped away.
Yeah, I mean, the way I looked at it the first half, actually, you know, kind of a nightmare for the CT side and NiP because the rounds were so very close all the time that NiP was on the verge of getting reset all the time. But they somehow managed to keep it so they eventually actually get an 8-7 lead going into the second half. And then you saw, like we said, NiP went to the pistol run and kind of set the rhythm there on out. But towards the tail end, you could see once Tyloo started picking up momentum, NiP actually looked a little bit like they were maybe scared to make moves. We saw around at 11, I think it was something like 11-11 at the time in the scoreline, and NiP was going quad, and they got really hesitant. They were waiting for some magical things to happen. And Tyloo had the perfect setup. They had 1 graveyard, 1 pit, 1 site. That's like the triangle of doom going on there. For some reason, DD makes a peek from pit. He dies. Eventually, NiP makes their way into the bomb site. Then they pick up a 13-11 lead, and that's when the Tyloo machine started working. X-Hacker with that amazing clutch with the
I hope we
3
see that.
no-scopes in 1 round. I mean, something you don't really get to see a lot of times.
It's just insane, that piece of play. It kind of defined their comeback in a way, didn't it?
That's the rough thing. I mean, here we are, obviously. So,
all right, so that's the 2-in-1. There's another no-scope.
Okay, quick
scope there. I think this one was a quick scope. Oh, it was no-scope. All right.
So this is part of the reason why you feel for NiP, because they were still in the driving seat, even though the T-side wasn't going so well. Like, they tried this really slow style because of how aggressive Tyloo is. It was going kind of even, you know. They still looked like the pace was going to be NiP's going to get up there. But look, 2 big clutches like this, where a guy with an AWP, super close range, you've got multiple people on the site. You're figuring, you know, one of us is going to get behind him, or he's going to just miss, and we're going to get him there. So very timely, and then, this guy as well, standing himself using the AWP, and actually had a pretty good game, as we said. He was kind of the liability against Virtus Pro, but he was no problem at all in this game.
Yeah, well, it was more about not dying too much in the other games, it seemed, in the group stages. But yeah, there was a couple of some stunning shots on Banana at one point as well. Very close range with the AWP. Both those 2 guys coming up big. And as Duncan had already said, NiP are going to be a bit frustrated about that, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but kudos to Tyloo, really. I mean, they kept Raz and Get really honest on that B bomb side on when Tyloo was playing T side. It felt like a lot of rounds there where those 2 didn't really have a lot of answers to the way that Tyloo was exploding on the bomb side. So I actually felt like Tyloo improved their game from previously in this tournament tremendously. In a lot of, like, we saw them winning clutches and making good decisions under pressure and not faltering the late round situations, but instead it felt like they were super dialed in, and they were actually looked better than NiP.
And obviously the key thing here as to why you're frustrated if you're at NiP is this is Tyloo's pick. Like, yes, you've got your pick next, so in theory it's not over, but you had a chance to steal this and maybe go for the 2-0, and then, you know, you're not in any danger whatsoever. So this is new life for Tyloo, and then if they can play that style, Overpass might not be the kind of the certain factor that we imagined beforehand.
I know you're not big on the whole home field advantage and all that kind of stuff, but the crowd getting behind them, that's going to help them, isn't it?
Well, actually, the factor that was interesting here, we didn't get a chance in the preview to talk about this, is that if you look at the history of the Tyloo team, even when they cause upsets, it's nearly always in the group stage. And so they're actually a team where on big stage scenarios, they haven't had much experience, and when they have, they tend to actually underwhelm. So I don't know if that's where it could help having the home crowd. Like it's a stage match, but it's a different one from being in Sydney or Malmo or some place that's kind of alien. Not hostile, but you just don't have kind of like comfort aspect there. Whereas you saw in this game, it felt like they warmed up as the game went on. They kind of settled into it and maybe got over some of those nerves.
Yeah, it is true. MVP, Natty, do you want to pick one out? Excurate was 26 and 17. Had a whole host of no scopes and quick scope. Can you give it to anyone else other than Excurate?
You just really can't. I mean, such a pivotal moment of the game, and being able to do what he did, you just hand it out to him.
Yeah, closely followed by Bente, who was 27 and 15, by the way, in this game. Lecro, top scoring for NiP, 25 for 20. But your man of the match, your MVP, is Excurate after that stunning performance. 26 and 17 for him. And also, I feel like it should have another extra part of the stats here that says no scope kills.
And another factor with this guy is, like you oftentimes see nowadays, they'll say for the AWP the actual number of kills purely with the AWP. And the thing I've noticed with him is the number of AWP kills is very, very high extra time. He's not a guy who's getting like a few and then he's got a lot of kills elsewhere. Because of the way he uses the weapon, like he's always getting like double digits, and that's actually pretty rare. Like that's like Guardian simple kind of territories if you're going to get that much. Now, obviously not that good a player overall, but you've seen how he is the difference maker in this team in terms of this new style they've got, this fresh approach. So yeah, very exciting stuff.
Yeah. Very good indeed. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll head to a break right now, but don't go anywhere. Game number 2 will be just around the corner. When we come back, we'll be back in the capable hands of Anders and Vendetta. Right now, though, it's Tyloo who lead on home soil.
大家好，现在坐在我旁边的也是 NiP 的 Gary 跟 Forrest。那我们即将做一个简单的采访。So the first question is, how's your team doing lately?
Yeah, I think we've only had, I think it's 3 or 4 days of practice, and I think it's hard to really know for sure where we're standing as a team, but I think the overall feeling of the team is that we're really on a good track or where we want to be, and he's adding a lot of, he has a positive attitude, and he's really good at coming up with different tactics and plays we can do during the game, and very adaptive in that kind of sense, and it's really good.
And I guess, do you recognize any of the Chinese players?
I mean, you can't, forget, the biggest stars back in the day, Sakula, Alex, Jungle, those guys, at least in my memory, I can't really come up with any more right now, but I think like Rita and so on, but I mean, Savage, you can't forget him, he's still playing and everything like that, it's, all of those players are so legendary, and I think even he had a chance to play against most of them. But for me, it was a little bit too younger than him before. It was cool to see their name, and eventually later on in the year see, like, for example, Alex behind and like casting nowadays and so on. It's nice to meet him and everything like that, and they're always so happy to see you, and it gives you joy and see that actually that one day you were watching them, and the other day you actually meet them in person, you can say hi and say like how good they were back in the days and so on. And it's a nice feeling to see those familiar faces.
So if you were to meet Sakula right now, probably will in a couple of days, how will you guys be able to communicate?
I don't know, I met him actually a week ago. It's not really any advanced English that we talk. It's more like hi, hugging, smiles, and just
mutual respect.
Yeah.
You guys have the common language, which is CSGO for us.
Exactly. 大家好，我是 Forrest.
大家好, get right.
So, thank you for the interview and best of luck for the tournament.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.